terrorism at the highest level. And I believe Mr. Golden and Mr. Bunting must be sorry against know that they play this politics. I'm not saying that they are the one, I mean, it's because of it, you know. But they come on a real fire because of it. And when these things happen, you know, whether the PMP supporters in the street are the ones doing it, that's how people are going to look at it, you know. And I believe there will be a big price at the poll. You see the coast of the year they talk about, they want to buy brethren. I drive coastal for years between Kingston and Maniville. And I go and tell you about it. You see the last year's coastal they have, if you lean on them suddenly, they sink. They dent. Because the bodies are very, very fair. We know about coastal. Just about the body know about them. You see, when you sit in the front of them, your knees almost touch on the dashboard. And if, should in case of a minor accident, children in that front, in those fronts, it's easy for them to be fatal. It don't mean a big accident, you know, minor. The buses that they're talking about is 16 years old. Those buses are good buses, you know, they're tough. Children not sitting near to them, to the front of them. It has to take major accident for those children to be fatal. Mr. Golden, all them know those things, but they just play politics. And they come on a real fire for it. So I know they're hearing all these things now. I know they're sorry more than one time again. That's my opinion on it.
All right, Richie. Thanks for the call. Lloyd, good evening.
Good evening to both of you.
Good evening, Lloyd. Long time to hear from you, all right?
Yeah, man.
Good.
My view is that Mr. Golden and his crew is trying to deceive the people that are not emancipated from mental slavery. And I say that because I hear Mr. Golden talking about since the JP government came into power and they are talking about the advancement of the people, and he don't see that advancement coming. Now, I want to tell Mr. Golden that the reason why the advancement cannot come overnight is because the taxpayers of Jamaica had to pay the people who invested in treasury bills. Treasury bills did not accommodate production. Treasury bill is like giving a second time to people who they didn't produce anything, but they were able to get money because they had money to invest. It wasn't invested in productivity. And the Jamaican taxpayer, even the anti-art man, had to pay taxes in order for those people to accumulate a vast amount of waste. Now, I heard even people who said that they came out of their businesses because the amount of profit that they were making, it was not sufficient like investing in Treasury Bill. They locked down their businesses, put money on Treasury Bill, and went to the beach. One of those persons said him couldn't go into the airport or the wharf to clear goods. And he had to come back and check about payroll and those things. He couldn't take that. He prefer close down and invest in Treasury bills. Now, Mr. Gordon, why are you continually trying to fool the Jamaican people? You're a beneficiary. So if we had to pay over 100 billion, all prosperity for come for the little small man overnight. Mr. Golden, listen, man, you don't have an interest in the small people because guess what? You said it out of your own mouth. At top and wrist, you are defending. Okay? So,
did he say that, Lloyd, or did he say him and him Tapanaris friend them go around the country? I don't think he said him only defending Tapanaris.
Then, listen.
No, I just want you to quote him at what he said. And I'm not contesting it. I'm just saying, quote him accurately.
But, Ricardo, my quoting him.
No, I understand the interpretation you've taken from the quote, but I'm saying if you're quoting him, quote him accurately.
Okay. Well, listen. One thing I want to tell Jamaican people say that the PNP is a pro-colonialist party from its inception. And I will explain. The PNP was founded mainly by people who came back from England after the Second World War.
The educated middle class.
Yeah, and
yes.
if you notice, they speak about Fabian socialism. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, I don't hear analysts.
In fact, if I recall correctly, a member of the Labour Party spoke at the launch of the People's National Party at the Ward Theatre. I recall reading that. A prominent member of the Labour Party at the time, the UK Labour Party.
All right.
Which would have embraced Fabian socialism at the time, yes. And perhaps still does.
But what a lot of analysts run away from talking. The party was made up of moderate socialists and communists. People don't talk about that. People don't talk about that. And you see, after the formation of the PNP and then the JLP came into being, the communist wing, headed by the 4-H.
Those were the Hill brothers?
Eh?
Those were the Hill brothers?
Yes, and Richard Hart and Arthur Henry.
Yes.
And Bustamante had to run from his West Kingston constituency because of violence. People don't talk about that. And you see, when they challenge Wilson Isaacs about it, he said, oh, it takes a few broken skulls to build a nation.
You know, it's interesting that you're bringing this up, Lloyd. I read an article just probably a week ago And the article was making a case that it was defending Edward Seaga as not being the originator of political violence in Jamaica. And that name that you just mentioned, was it Isaacs? Is the name you?
Wilson Isaac.
Right. I came across him in my readings. It's so interesting that you're bringing this up this evening. I recently became educated about those matters.
Because that is, you see, when they paint Seaga, it's a strategy of the PNP from they became a party. And the JLP was fought. Did you know that one of the reasons why Bustamante didn't go forward with the PNP, Norman Mandela did not allow him to speak at the inception because guess what? He knows that the crowd would not give Bustamante more cheers than him. I want to get some more people.
Yeah, actually, no, but Lloyd, you and I probably need to have some conversations because a lot of what you're sharing is information I recently came into. For example, I gather, and obviously I can only rely on what my elders tell me and what I can find in the literature, that yes, that was a real fear. That Bustamante he had a charisma that attracted the common man in a way that the very scholarly and erudite Norman Manley did not. And there are people, and there's literature that says that may have been the source of some resentment. I don't know how widespread it was or how significant it was, but that Manley did always envy that I suppose you'd call it the common touch that Bustamante had.
Ricardo, quickly,
yes,
because I want to get some more people space. I don't want this space. Go and read John Blair.
John Blair.
Yes, and you will see in there that before Bustamante even came into politics,
yes,
he had the common touch for the poor of this country. All right, sir.
All right, my brother. Thank you so much.
And take care.
And the YouTubers are saying that we probably should have an interview with Lloyd alone because he's a walking encyclopedia and history lesson. No, it is true, Siobhan. I did come across that in my reading. In fact, there was an argument that was why, for example, the referendum on the Federation, the Labour Party was able to prevail because while Manley may have had good intentions and noble intentions, he was not able to communicate it in a way that the masses of the Jamaican people...
That's probably why the People's National Party is so terrified of referendums to this day.
It could be. It could be. In fact, I remember I was watching another documentary. I think her name escapes me now. But Manley, one of the Manley grandchildren, she said that when the referendum failed, she remembered her grandfather sitting at a table, a desk, and she could see that he was so broken, so hurt, because the majority of the people had rejected him and his ideal of where the country should go. But Lloyd, yeah, man, we should talk some more. Because I want the elders to tell me the stories, because I worry that the history is disappearing, and a lot of people who are telling the stories.
Is it disappearing or there's just no interest in hearing it?
No, I think, let me use me as an example, and I might be the minority. I think there is an interest. I think there is an interest in hearing, but there are not a lot of sources that are willing to talk. It's why, for example, I have appreciated people like Beverly Manley, the Manley Memoirs, the docu-series that she did. I think I heard, for example, 2 interviews between Cliff and Pernell Charles Sr. I appreciated that. I want the elders to tell the stories. Because the stories are vanishing, and I think in some ways the history is also being whitewashed.
I understand that because there's this unwillingness to tarnish the reputations of those bygone.
But I don't think we should be
But I think it does do a disservice.
It does, because if we don't know where we have come from as a people, not just politically but socially, then I don't know if we can ever have a real hope of going somewhere in a guided way. You understand? I think we'll repeat mistakes that we've already made if we don't tell those stories and learn from them.
Because Cliff has a a copy of the biography done on Michael Manley, and reading that was quite eye-opening. Some of the things that was discussed in that book, some of the things that you learned that they're not going to teach you in a political relations class, and you're not going to hear uttered in any way on a radio station in any capacity. But it gives you an eye-opening understanding of where the Jamaican politics is coming from.
Yeah. So youngsters like myself and Siobhan, we appreciate when the elders talk to us about these things. We enjoy it. Carl.
Evening, Ricard. Evening, Shava.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Light. Long time I hear your voice. Why you come with the doctrine this evening. Thank you very much. Something that you said I never really know about it. I have to look it up over the weekend here.
What's that?
To really understand it. Anyhow, I heard Dayton Campbell crying from 12 o'clock news today like some big yard demeanor.
What was that about? Let me look.
I want Andrew to and the Jamaica Labour Party to give him 3 more of those big meat like we keep in St. Catherine Sunday night.
PNP General Secretary has hit back at the Prime Minister for his drunken power remark.
Well, hold on. Well, I'm coming there. I'm coming there. If Dayton Campbell did just listen and call him, did just take a listening ears. Light B. Smith used a reference. I think it was Tuesday evening when him and Bert Samuels and the farmer, that lady named
Donna Parchment Brown,
Donna
former
Parchment
political
Brown.
ombudsman. Yes.
And Light B. Smith used a word, and that was what it referred to. Dayton Campbell and Bolin. That Bolin was a drunken man on a platform.
No, he never said that.
Dayton Campbell.
Lloyd B. Smith never said that.
He never said that, but that's what the word mean. That like
no. He questioned whether that was the case. He didn't say Mr. Golding is a drunken man.
Anyhow.
And just to be clear, we have no evidence that Mr. Golding is a drunken man.
No, I did not.
Yeah, I'm just making it clear that he never directly said that. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And crying like that, Dayton Campbell, while you be coming annoying to people. Some people say.
Well, let me hear what he said. I didn't hear it. Bugs in 12 o'clock. I didn't hear it. Let me play it right now. The first clip. Dr. Campbell. It's Dayton on PM. Dr. Campbell says it's the Holness administration that's drunk on power. That's leading to the clip. The first clip, yes.
I heard him recently, and the Prime Minister says that some people are drunk on power. I want to know who is drunk on power, because there is a Prime Minister that has said to this country he does not need any opposition. That sounds to me like somebody who's drunk on power. There is a Prime Minister who in 2020, in the middle of COVID, called an election 6 months early because he had an advantage. Now we are down to the wire, and he has his Minister of Constitution and Legal Affairs talking about December. Call the election now if you are not drunk on power.
Okay. Well, I mean, 2 responses to that. One, COVID was very different, and history has proven that the decision to call that election early was the correct one, because if I recall correctly, at around the time when the election would have been due, there was a serious spike in cases.
Thank you very much, Ricardo.
And that would have meant the country would have veered very close, I think, to a crisis. So that was one. No, the second response is I don't know if saying what the law plainly says, which is what the Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs did, and in fact she did the country a national service, because I think a lot of people did not know that the elections were actually constitutionally due in December. So I'm not sure Dr. Campbell agreed that makes one drunk on power. And just to be clear, the Prime Minister said on the fumes of power. But I hear Dr. Campbell.
Anyhow, the rest of the people I'm listening. Well, I heard Golden also since evening upon my television. Mm-hmm. And you can hardly pick out anything out of what Golden said nowadays to believe it. I'm going to use the word misleading. I'm going to be very careful and use the word misleading. Him says the economy of Jamaica, them left it in a very good shape And when the government, when time them they take it from the JLP, they are the precipice that is misleading Golden. You are misleading the country, Golden. The first thing, Golden, it is when the man who gives you the seat, Omar Davis, carried Jamaica economy to the precipice. Go and check that for yourself, Golden. When that foolish thing that him said at Meadowbrook School that Sunday evening, and then tell we say he have a correctly that a former member of the PMP say it was the most massive resources from the poor to the rich since your country, Golden, abolished slavery from Jamaica. You must learn to speak the truth when you're speaking to the people. Speak the truth. And enough time we come with this argument, I heard enough of talking about Peter Phillips help draw policy to get us out of problem with the country. No, Peter Phillips was a part of that meltdown.
Carl, we've had this.
Yes,
we've had this discussion. That does not change the fact that he did as finance minister. It don't change the fact. You're not gonna take away nothing from your argument if you just accept that basic fact.
No, I cannot accept it.
Why? It's true.
And Ricardo, I trying to.
No, I'm not saying. No, hold on. No, I'm not saying to you that he was not a part of the government that presided over the chaos. I am not contesting that, but that doesn't take away from the fact that as finance minister between 2012 and 2016, he did serious work to reform the system.
Ricardo, I'm going to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
In April gone, my vehicle was due to insure. And if I did not insure my vehicle back and making a
yes, Carl, accident, that may well be so. If he never do it, we'll probably go off. But it doesn't take away from the fact that it happened.
Ricardo, if him was a part of this disaster, Ricardo, I don't care what you do, no, Ricardo, you was a part of the destruction, Ricardo. Can't take that away from me.
So why can't you accept the fact that your own prime minister has accepted?
I have accepted your starting premise, and I don't contest your starting premise. But it don't change the fact that as finance minister, he not gonna take away nothing from your argument if you accept that.
Ricardo,
the former finance minister has accepted it. The current finance minister has accepted it. The prime minister has accepted it. Why you can't accept it?
Well, my leader can accept it.
But you not accept it.
Mr. Clark and Mrs. Williams, but I cannot accept it.
I see. Very
because
well.
You know what, Ricardo? You know young. You know never know the disaster.
No, I guarantee you I knew what was happening in the 1990s.
We're not that young.
I know what was happening in the 1990s. Ricardo, and I'm saying to you, Carl, it don't change the basic fact.
Ricardo, when a person can get up and do policy of what Omar Davis and you sit down and knock a bench.
Nobody no argue with you about that. Nobody now argue with you about that. Nobody. He was a part of the cabinet. It is a fact. And as the principle of collective responsibility, yes, he remained silent and he was a part of that cabinet. No question about it. But does that change the fact that between 2012 and 2016, he ran his leg to correct those grave errors? Does that change that fact? No. Thank you for the call, Carl. 630-937-124-618-8255. Papa Nana.
Yes, sir. Good evening to you both.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. I listened to the argument. Let me ask you one question first. Could you tell me the reason why Michael Phillips did not attend the handing over of the bus here and Mr. Jackson?
No idea.
You don't have no idea? And don't you think if you're saying something at your home with your young children and things, they always grow up to live by what you do many of the time?
Yes, that's the principle. Children live what they learn, yes?
Yes. And that's why I told you people on this radio times and often that if you notice, the PMP is very smart, they target it because, take for instance, if you want to catch a lot of Jenga, I don't know if you would know what I call so. You would set a fish pot in a swimming pool.
Because the jungle them in the swimming pool, yeah?
No, you check it with Elsa River where you know a lot of them is.
Yes.
That's why you see them try to keep targeting the unfortunate, the people them who maybe can't read and write. It's what they talk about the bus, why people start to attack the bus. I am telling you that is that happen. Is what they said why illiterate people, they don't must tell them to do it. But it's what they talk about it, why people start to attack the bus. And I was waiting long and I want to give somebody else a chance if there is another chance. But what I'm asking you, could you tell me what is going to happen to Jamaica if mongoose have secret for dog? What would happen to fowl?
What?
No,
hold on. If mongoose, wait. If mongoose have secret for dog, what happened to fowl?
Yes.
Here, mama, nana boy, yes. Wait, hold on. Me don't know. But alright, hold on. Let me reason that one that true. So if let me get that again. So if the mongoose have a secret for the dog, what happened to the fowl? Yes. And the mongoose eat the fowl. So if the me I try get it, mama nana. Me I try get it. So if the mongoose have a secret for the dog,
yes,
and the the fowl I get away. The fowl I get away.
The mongoose, the dog can't trouble the mongoose because the mongoose have secret to the dog.
Oh, so that means that the fowl will get nyam. Because the dog now run the mongoose so the fowl. See that? All right.
I leave you now to think about what
I see. One papa nana, one mama nana. Yes.
People, and that is the reason why they try to ghettoize most of Jamaica, that they can use the unfortunate to do their dirty work.
I see. All right, papa
and that
nana.
is what I'm telling you, so you take care of yourself. I leave you to think about
all right.
Mongoose
can't have secret for dog. Come on, got him to the phone. All right.
Good, sir.
Hey, old people, bright, you know. Can't chew in the books. Can dog they run on the mongoose. Say they have a secret. They not run no can free the mongoose. They mongoose and near me fall. That makes sense, man. That makes quite sense. 630-937-124-618-8255. Anthony.
Ricardo, Chevron, how are you guys doing?
Doing all right. Good evening, sir. How are you?
I am doing good, thanks. Ricardo.
Yes, sir.
I just want to say to Mr. Lewis that cameras are available that can be placed in those areas that they're having those problems. And those cameras can be there and not so easily detectable. Let me say that.
Okay.
So I work on a university campus, right? And they are, I know of at least 200 cameras on the campus that unless one of the person install them, you will not know that those cameras are there. So cameras are available that can be placed in those areas. It's just that it might be a little expensive, and I don't know whether government or private sector would want to invest in them and stuff. Because this foolishness needs to stop. We can't invest in spending tax money to buy vehicles, and people just think that they can come and stone them like that and stuff.
Well said.
That's all I have.
All right. Thanks, Anthony. Agreed. 630-937-124-618-8255. We're taking your calls on Nationwide at 5. I wonder, I'm just still on that. Yeah.
A good bit of Jamaican wisdom.
It's brilliant. Cleveland.
Yes, Mr. Ricardo and Savan. How are you doing?
Doing all right, my friend. How are you?
I'm giving thanks. You know, it not surprised me here in the news today that people start stoning the bus.
Me disappointed. Me very disappointed.
Because of how the leaders, them talking about the bus. I know it would happen. These people take a thing from their leaders. Right? And that's why leaders have to be careful, especially here in Jamaica. What you say out there, Right? And if you notice, anywhere they throw stone on the bus, those areas are strong PNP areas. Yeah, and it's always happening at Jewsland. If you look back over your news over the years and you're just getting stone, short in Jewsland United. You see? And that's why leaders have to be very careful as what things they say and how they say it. Because I think like the bus system, especially for the younger, for the kids, is very important. Very important. So, no matter which government in, and as long as they bring in some buses for the children to travel in, we must all support it.
Yes.
The children are suffering to go to school and get home from school with these taxi people. You hear what the DPP tell you this evening?
Yes.
That's happening to the young children then.
Yes.
You see? And sometimes, boy, I tell you, I cry for them when I see them pack them up in the car. Then sit down by each other in the mine shop. And now we're getting to get rid of those type of ways to get the children to school, look more comfort and so on. And then start to stone on the bus. You see? Because them think a GLP bus. You see? And those are the type of people who are around support these people because they want to win government and then shut anything. And you have only for people out there who dying to what they're saying, We know, man, we can't continue that way. Can't continue. We must support the bus system and see that they don't mash up the bus then. And the bus people, they must try and put things around those areas that they can find them and deal with them hard. All right. That's all I have to say.
All right, Cleveland. Chris, good evening.
Good evening, Ricardo.
Good
Sanjay.
evening. It's Siobhan with me this evening.
Siobhan, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, man, just a little bit of inquiry, though. I was like the second, after your first caller, I got to quickly on line number 3. And me hear about 4 more callers coming in before me. So me check say, them are coming in order as how them come, I beg you, just, you're my favorite station and I listen to you, but, you want to, everybody have them points, but make we take them as them come and we can work out. I have 2 points to make, though, that I will ask you to allow me to make.
My producer has come into the studio to show me her list to prove that she didn't sign. She didn't put it aside. Yes.
I'm not going to take the time now.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Radio time.
Yeah, man, go ahead.
One, just for a clarity here, and I'm not defending, but I'm going to tell you something. From where I'm coming from,
yes.
I can't speak certain things. They have been stoning buses from a long, long time. But it is a disgrace that a brand new, at least one of the brand new buses is stoned. And, this don't look good. This don't look good. This don't look good. And when certain utterances are made, that's why people kind of join up things and say, this is why it happened. It could very well be not so.
Yes.
And that's why they say don't threaten anybody. Because once you threaten a man, another man will have a beef with a man quietly. Him do something now and make you get the blame. You understand? You understand what I just
Yes,
said?
no, yeah, man, I get you.
Right. So, threat. You go to the road and threaten a man, and next man, they don't want to lick down that man a long time. Them go and look for the last man who threaten him. Let us give for the school buses now, because this was not one of the school buses. For the school buses, I call on the people to allow the buses to go there and see how they operate. And then you can come with your criticism and say, well, I did make certain pronouncement. But we can't from day one. The day not come yet. September morning not come yet. And we start killing the bus already. You understand?
So give them a chance.
Give them a chance and let us see how they will operate. What? I have a car right now, 22-year-old, and I have a younger vehicle. But the 22-year-old is so good. From a 03 Camry. Good, like gold. 200 hard or more than the clock. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And it is working well. I remember when Mr. Pickersgill was Minister Transport, he bought one of those articulated buses, 2 pieces at the time. And Mr. Wilmot Perkins, a man who I like listen to just like Cliff Hughes.
Mm-hmm.
Wilmot Perkins called him one day, and Wilmot said to him, Minister, and Mr. Perkins said to him, call me what you used to call me, man. Call me Round Jungle. And he laughed. And he said, oh, that bus is going to make it around Golden Dragon Corner, because that bus was running from Halfway Tree to Papine and back.
Mm-hmm.
He said, how that bus going to make it around Golden Dragon Corner? You think it can? You're going to manage it? You know what Bobby Pickersgill did?
Right.
He went and buy one next one with 3 pieces this time, longer. And it worked. It worked. Never. So we can't decry the buses at this time.
Yes.
Yeah, give them a chance to work. My next point is, I am noticing every perspective or what they want to be, if they are going to be candidates for the PNP. Every one of them have a different plan. One have 72 votes to give away in a Fiend constituency up at South Trelawney. And if him get in a parliament, one next one around they saw him and Fiend one plan. It don't seem like these people sit like when I was at our association and I would sit with my team and we plan and said, we are going to have conference around this team and we have to sit and we have to give our speech before the small executive and said, this is how my speech is. So if you go up there and say something out of touch, you will have to account for it, because we had to vet the speech together before everybody talk, and I notice everybody on that stage is taking up a cup all the while and they are drinking from some white cup, some all of that. And that is why the vodka and the something they are lick the head, because everybody come with a height. I remember as well that when I was where I was, those graffiti around West Kingston, around Spanish Town, we would paint them out as police officers because they send a certain message, and we said no. So the commissioner then at the time said, paint out those murals, and we get them painted out. And we are now seeing, even when I was in Kingston the other day, when I drive down to Waterloo, and I saw some nice painting, and I have to take a picture of them. They signal a different tone as to what the community must be. I see people with shirt now, blood and fire. What is it telling us? That is blood and fire election we're going to have? Please. And some of these people were a part of who used to clean up the system. Let them stop doing this. Let the kind of rhetoric change. Speak and speak together. We want the MP from the era where they must stone the bus out. What they say, where that bus was stolen yesterday.
It would be a Western St. Andrew.
Western St. Andrew. Mr. Hilton must come out, or do we never feel part, or if it reach out to Miss Denise Daly out Central Village and denounce the kind of behavior. Don't try win on those things, because if you ever get a chance to win, you're going to want bus coming in your area. If you ever get a chance, that I don't believe that they are going to get. But if they ever get a chance, what they want to do? Going make the bus them look like foul, could put up plastic around them. You know, Mr. Radcliffe Lewis sent for me, make me help you. You understand? Because we have to get to the root of this. And I ask the JUTC probably put up a good reward. And when you catch somebody, the law must be so strict that is not no fine. It must be confinement and make an example of any person they catch that stones a bus. Because if I'm on a bus and they stone it, you know, and me get licking, somebody go and get a big lawsuit. And I don't know what next. You understand? It can't be like that, man. We can't be so uncivil. And the people them who drink in the vodka and talk, tell the people them say, no, we're not into that.
All right, my brother, I hear you.
Yes.
Fergie?
Yes, Shaban and Ricardo.
Good evening, Fergie. How are you doing?
Yes, man. This is Fergie from G Spring. I hear them have another Fergie. But I kind of retire from the politics, you know. Mm-hmm. And I tempted to talk about the party, but after the election, I talk about the politics. One thing I need to mention, I'm a survivor of FinSAC, right? Went through the whole thing. And I was very impressed with the speech that the Prime Minister gave to those youngsters, young entrepreneurs, right? And I was very impressed with it, very encouraging, and you know, I really respected him for the things he brought, and you know, enlightened them with a lot of some of the short history of what really took place, the reality of what took place in the meltdown, right? But only one thing that I am very disappointed about, that having explained the whole thing, you know, he never addressed what he's going to do for the victims or the survivors who were treated like lepers after, you know, the whole thing, and people suffered, who died, whatever, who committed suicide. Well, I never thought of no suicide. I just struggled through it, the embarrassment, and for 30 years, you know, to go through the struggle. But I'm also saying it was good that he brought it up and explained the whole thing to the youngsters. Only one thing I'd like them to do, though, right, is to make sure that something like this couldn't take place again. And by doing that, what they should do is have a law that inflation, in other words, anybody borrow loan, any of these youngsters borrow loan at, say, 25% or whatever, right? Any bank that decides to increase it, it must be based on the inflation of the day, and not just from 25% to 119%. That should never be allowed, and that is what killed the whole thing, right? So they need to look into that.
I don't know if there's a need for legislation to that degree, because as it stands now, the kind of interest rate incentivization that happened during the FinTech era could not potentially happen in Jamaica today, because remember, we practice a mandated 4 to 6% inflation rate, and the banks would be crazy to try and not at least keep their interest rates somewhere within that margin.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. They should put anybody borrowing a loan, it should be in the, one of the understanding or one of the laws that govern that you cannot increase your interest rate above the rate of inflation of the day. In other words, there must be a guideline. Because you can't say it can't happen again.
I just think today modern market forces keeps that in such a way that you wouldn't need to set a guideline. It would disincentivize the banks to a degree if they attempted to do that.
You know, it's just that it is very scary for people to remember that and not have.
As I said, as the Prime Minister said, the scars from that era run deep, and I know a lot of businessmen and entrepreneurs, just the very mention of that makes them twitch.
Yeah, man. I mean, I went through it for 30 years, you know, nightmares, you know. So I just saying for the country, I'm a patriotic Jamaican, and I would hate to see that people have the authority to change the interest rate from that significant difference, you know. Anyway, as you say, it's more difficult for it to happen nowadays. But you know, even he was very sympathetic to the victims, you know.
Yeah, hear you, my friend.
But you need to do something about the, you know, some little incentives for the survivors. You know, they don't want money, but something, you know.
All right, my brother, we're out of time.
All right,
appreciate the call. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right, that's where we're going to leave it. Thanks to our producer, Sonia Stewart, the man behind the controls, Andrew Glenn Anderson. He goes by the name Bogues. Our colleagues in the newsroom, the very best in the